Okay, we're back. We just did day one of unit one. So now we're in day two. Wow, what an interesting topic to talk about today. In this particular topic, we're talking about the compulsion to control. And so today's objective is that we're going to identify how growing up in a dysfunctional family may lead to compulsion to control things, situation, and people. Okay. And so the dysfunctional families feel out of control most of the time. So the compulsion to control is not easy to spot as a drink in a hand or a pack of cigarettes in a pocket. Although not easily discovered as an eating problem or work addiction, we got to pay attention to compulsion. We got to pay attention to control. Okay. It is nevertheless a powerful compulsion. Okay. So the compulsion is, when we think about it, it's control in the sense that it's characteristic of many people who experience this ongoing emotional pain during their childhood. We got to consider how a person who grew up in a home with an alcoholic person, see, because the alcoholic home is often out of control and the child feels helpless. So there's this compulsion to feel out of control. So the family's money may not be in control. One on one, for one reason, is because um maybe one occasion, maybe when the dad was on this drinking binge, some people may have brought them some groceries and tried to help them. But as a very young child, we need to think about how you can probably remember how nice this was or how they brought you groceries. And then later, something in you may have said, something's wrong with this. We should not need people to bring us groceries, because in the dysfunctional family, sometimes as a basic, as for something that simple as providing food may not be in control, whether people want to believe it or not. So to cope in a dysfunctional family, the child develops survival mechanism. One survival mechanism is staying in control. The child may learn to survive by control. Okay. And so this is why we have a lot of controlling women today and marriages that are being lost because of the spirit of control and manipulation. And so the philosophy of the child becomes control feelings, okay? Control situations, control people. If you succeed at controlling, you will not get hurt. And so in their mindset, they believe they can control the situation or control what's going on around them. They got everything all right. Because they say if they're not in control, they're going to fall apart. So when the child from a dysfunctional family grows up, he may react to being in a family that is out of control by deciding, never again will I let myself be in a situation in which I am not in control. It's too painful. I don't like it. If I'm not in control, is what they're thinking, everything gonna fall apart. So along with the need to control may come a desire for that person for predictability. They may want to see how things are going to be predictable so they can cope. So the family that is out of control is not predictable. Okay. So that this family that is trying to do something different and they can't figure out what's going on, they're gonna feel like I'm losing it. I don't know what you're doing. They don't like the secret because you're doing something secret, is what they're thinking. But a family vacation, maybe scheduled for 6 months in advance, maybe. This may would be something unusual in this type of dysfunctional family, okay? Or the child begin to hunger for a predictable lifestyle, or a surprise becomes a bad word to them. They don't want to hear that. Okay, so this child has had too many surprises. They don't like it. Surprise, daddy's not coming home tonight. Okay, this surprise is not a good feeling to them because they're used to seeing him. So we don't know where he is. All they know is he's absent. Okay, so dysfunctional families can create so much pain that children learn not to feel. And so, with this type of compulsion to control, the compulsion to control may grow from a desire to control every kind of feeling. Okay, growing in a dysfunctional family brings intense emotional pain. Some of the feelings are so painful that the child may believe the feelings have the power to destroy them. The child buries these frightening feelings deep inside, buried feelings. You got to know, they feel like they must be kept under control. So if they bury them, then this is the only way they're going to feel that they have the control, because they understand how to be able to manipulate or to be able to get things to flow accordingly so they won't feel that pain. But dysfunctional families do a poor job of nurturing trust. Okay. I don't want to be dependent on they thinking I don't want to be dependent on somebody else, because when you're dependent on somebody else, he will probably let you down. I would rather carry my own weight, but the problem is, though outwardly this individual may be saying, leave me alone. Okay. I'll do it myself. And then inwardly, this person is crying out, I'm lonely. Please help me. And many times they don't want to say it. They just want to be able to let it look like they're okay. But our responsibility is to pay attention to what are we giving across based on what we came up in or grew up in, so we can see if these compulsions are getting out of control. And maybe that's the reason why relationships are not working the way they need to, because of the compulsion to control. See, dysfunctional families, they produce children who want to make up for their family's mistakes a lot of times. So the adult child of a dysfunctional family may feel shame about his family. He inwardly resolves to compensate for what his family lack. So whatever is not there, they try to make it up through whatever reasons to make it look like it's going to be better this way, or it seems better for that individual because of the compulsion that they grew up with. Okay, so he sets these high goals and works hard to reach them. And many times people are doing this because they've been made to try to excel or exceed more than even their capacity even know how to. So they really, really overwork themselves and everything else. See, they want to work hard to reach a certain goal or reach or achieve something higher than somebody else, and they feel that by achieving these great things, they feel that they can overrule their family's strained record of behavior, or they can overrule whatever is going on in the house, whether it's the husband being this way or the wife. They feel like they can change that. I want to read to you a family portrait that you can kind of get a visual of what I'm talking about when I say a family portrait of a situation. Okay. And it goes as follows. When I was about 8 years old, I received a Bible for Christmas. The Bible had a schedule in the back for reading the Bible through in 1 year. I made a New Year's resolution to read the whole Bible by following this plan. In the mornings, I read from the Old Testament, and in the evenings, I read from the New Testament. As I read, something unusual started to happen. When I now believe, which I now believe was a symptom of the emotional pain I felt in my family. As I read my Bible, I would read a section once and then say to myself, that maybe I didn't pronounce a word just right. I would read it again. Soon I was reading a phrase aloud over and over again, sometimes stuttering. Finally, I would move on to the next section of scripture. It took a long time to complete the daily readings. When I had finished reading, I would go to my desk. I kept my Bible at my Sunday school book on the lower right corner of my desk. I would make sure that the side of the Sunday school book was half and an inch from the side of the desk, and that the bottom was half an inch from the front of the desk. I would place the Bible on top of the Sunday school book, which every corner matching in perfect alignment. Okay. Then I would recheck the Bible and the Sunday school book for alignment as many as 50 times. My father was getting drunk. I didn't understand. And I was crying out to God, God, I don't understand what is going on in my family. I know that my parents love me, but something is wrong. I don't understand it. Help me. God, please. God, look at me. Please. God, how hard I'm trying. Okay. When we look at this family portrait, I think one of the things that we're going to learn, these two kinds of thinking, when we get into day three, we're going to learn that there are some feelings that we got to think about, okay? Feelings that describe us when we're looking at this particular family portrait, I want you to write down, what are you feeling? What type of thoughts are you feeling about this particular portrait of this family as it relates to compulsive behavior? I mean, 50 times was a lot to keep positioning that book and that Bible there on that table. So I want you to write down and describe your feelings about what you felt while you was listening to this about this family portrait. And I want you to think about these particular feelings and just kind of write in your journal or in your notebook, what do you feel about these? What is it telling you about compulsive behavior as it relates to this particular person's experience that they were going through as a child or trying to grow up in the Lord? The first feeling is they're sad. The second feeling is angry. The third feeling is lonely. The fourth feeling is shameful. The fifth feeling is guilty. The sixth feeling is confused. The seventh feeling is afraid, or no feelings at all. I want you just to write those down and give your thoughts about them. Okay. Now, because we're still thinking about where we are, I want you to remember your job is to continue each day throughout the week saying those affirmations at least 5 times. And remember 1 Peter 5:7. It says, cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you. Don't you remember to repeat those 5 times that I said those words? I accept God's love for me. God is in control. Amen. We'll talk when I begin to share with you day 3 about 2 kinds of thinking. God is so good. I pray that you're enjoying these lessons as we go through this part of inner healing for those who are in our Singles Academy.